Greetings everybody, Drachi TV, your favorite Pokehistorian at your service. Today, I'll be talking about the legendary Pokemon trio Zekrom, Reshiram, and Kyurem. Reshiram, Zekrom, and Kyurem, or officially known as the Tao Trio, are the three major legendary Pokemon that were introduced in the Unova region. Although they are officially known as the Tao Trio, another popular term coined for them by the fans of the franchise is the Energy Trio. According to Pokemon myths, the trio was created during the war plaguing the Unova region. Much like the prior legendary trios of past games, these three Pokemon are very similar in appearance, and even hold the same typing, with all three being Dragon type. Although all of them are Dragon types, they're primarily defined by their other typing, with Reshiram being Fire, Zekrom being Electric, and Kyurem having the Ice type. The base stats of these Pokemon are as follows. Reshiram and Zekrom both have the base stats of 680, while Kyurem has a base stat total of 660. Although this is the case for their original forms, their stats jump up to a total of 700 when either is combined with Kyurem. When looking into these Pokemon's lore, it is important to note the origins of the trio. These legendary Pokemon are commonly associated with the Yin and Yang, with Reshiram representing the Yang side and Zekrom representing the Yin. How does Kyurem fit into this, you may be asking? Well, Kyurem represents the concept of Muji, which is the concept of the absence of yin and yang. Since I understand that many of you may not be familiar with the concept of yin and yang, I'm going to perform a brief summary of the idea. When talking about yin and yang, it is important to mention the concept of dualism, which is the idea that in this world there are often opposite or contrary forces that are interconnected. This is the principle that yin and yang are based off of. When applying that to Pokemon, especially the Energy Trio, it can be said that Reshiram and Zekrom are polar opposites representing dualism in the Pokemon universe. In this context, Kyurem was also introduced to represent Wuji. The background of these Pokemon are only implied to be connected, even though they are said to have no relation to each other. Their origins were revealed in the Legends of the Unova region, in which they were once said to have been a singular dragon Pokemon, used by the twin heroes to create the Unova region as we now know it. Even though this is the case, each of the twins had a different desire in life, being truth for the older brother and ideals for the younger brother. Due to this conflict of interest, the two brothers began to fight over whose ideals were more correct. In response to this fight, the single dragon-type Pokemon split into two different Pokemon, with one being Zekrom and the other being Reshiram. It is said that Reshiram sided with the older twin, while Zekrom took the side of the younger twin. Unfortunately, the situation escalated quite severely, to the point where the two dragons were pitted up against each other in a one-on-one battle, where neither Pokemon were stronger, and the fight eventually ended up in a stalemate. After witnessing that there was going to be no victor in the fight, both of the brothers came to the understanding that neither of their values was more correct. Even though this was the case, the brothers continued to fight until the powers of Reshiram and Zekrom destroyed the region with their intense elemental powers. After this unfortunate result, the two dragons fled the scene of their destruction and subsequently disappeared, never to be seen again until the events that transpired in the games Black and White, where the player eventually sees and captures one of the dragons depending on the version of their game. At the beginning of the Black and White games, one of the legendary dragons resides at the top of Dragon Spiral Tower until they are called upon by N in order to assist him in creating his ideal world. After this, the player is tasked with finding the other dragon, which is asleep in its respective stone, either light or dark. Even though Kyurem is closely related in terms of lore, its history is almost completely different, with its origin story being that it came to the Unova region on an icy meteor that crashed into a location called the Giant Chasm. Something interesting about Kyurem is that it apparently used to take Pokemon away from Lucanosa Town and eat them. This is one of the reasons that there is now a wall around the town and the citizens refuse to leave their houses after dark. Now, with the lore of the Energy Trio being over, it's time to move on to the anime appearances. The first appearance that I'm going to go over is the movies that these Pokemon have been in. The first two movies are Black, Victini and Reshiram, and White, Victini and Zekrom. These movies are practically the same, with the main difference in the movies being the Pokemon that Ash befriends. Just to go over the plot quickly, no matter which version you choose to watch, the main antagonist plans on capturing Victini and harnessing its power. But as that happens, Ash has to convince either Reshiram or Zekrom on helping, depending on what version of the movie you are watching. That brings us to the second difference in the movie, which is that whatever Pokemon Ash convinces to help him, the other legendary Pokemon has been captured by Damon, the antagonist of the story. Honestly, if I were to review this movie, I would have to say that it is incredibly enjoyable to watch, and therefore definitely a movie I would recommend giving a watch to if you haven't already. One of the bright points for me was definitely seeing Victini's playful yet shy personality interact with the rest of the main cast. While watching the movie, I realized I established a meaningful connection to the lovable mythical Pokemon to the point where I was genuinely hoping to see Victini emerge unscathed because I couldn't stand to see it get injured. With that being said, the second movie based in the Unova region is called Keldeo and the Swords of Justice. This movie mainly features Kyurem as well as Keldeo and the Swords of Justice. The general plot of the movie is that while traveling on a train to the next stop of their journey, Ash and friends spot an injured Pokemon. Right after this, the legendary Pokemon Kyurem attacks the train, where Ash and friends are barely able to escape the Pokemon's vicious attacks. After this encounter with Kyurem, it's revealed that their newest friend is the mythical Pokemon Keldeo, and its comrades, Virizion, Terrakion, and Cobalion, have been captured by Kyurem. Unfortunately, Kyurem's rampage is not over though, because it has been drawing power from Reshiram and Zekrom, and by combining with them, it has become even more powerful. I'm not going to spoil the ending for you if you haven't watched it yet, but similarly to the last one, I definitely recommend watching this movie if you are a fan of the franchise. With the major appearances for these legendary Pokemon being over, I think that concludes the video for now. As always, if you enjoyed the series, make sure to subscribe for more amazing Pokemon content. That being said, I wish you all the best.